to receive the invitation to come here and be with you. Anytime I come to a Central High School type of graduation award, just 50 years, amazing. But it's always the same thing, tremendous people as in this room. And also the pride that everybody takes by having been a graduate of Central High School. And I'll tell you that I got a lot of pride that I was able to spend 14 years at Central High School. I thought, briefly, I give you some idea that, what goes into an official? Where do these people start? How they suddenly jump out on the field. And that guy down there just called pass interference, which he knew what he was talking about. He blew the call. But the thing is, I'll give a little bit of a background, because mine, I feel, a little bit different than most people, probably anybody. In high school, I played football. I was a center and a linebacker, halfway decent, not a real good player, but a halfway decent player. Loved all sports. Never went out for basketball because I thought I wasn't quick enough to be on the basketball team. However, what I used to do occasionally, I went to Roman Catholic High School, and up on the 4th floor, they used to scrimmage. After school, rather hit the books like you people did. I grew up and I'd watch the scrimmage, and on occasion the coach said, listen, Art just did, how about if you get a whistle and blow the whistle? And I threw up maybe 15, 20 minutes, that was it. Went to the Marine Corps. An unusual experience happened to me in the Marine Corps. One night I went to base gymnasium, Marine team was going to play a team from the Army. They were going to bring them in from Honolulu. And sitting in the stands, we had maybe 50 people in this huge crowd to watch this game. It's going to start. Along by 8 o'clock, players seemed to be warming up for eternity. All of a sudden, somebody stepped out and turned around to the crowd and said, official didn't show up. Can anybody referee? And I looked around, nobody else moved. Yeah, I'll take a chance. So I went down, borrowed a pair of sneakers, got a whistle, and worked the whole game by myself. And these were very good basketball players. They never said a word. I probably butchered the game unmercifully. But they never said a word, never complained about any call. At least they still like to hand the ball to a guy when he shoots a foul and so on. Now, the game was over. I went over, taking my sneakers off, and one of the players came over to me. He looked at me and said, hey kid, he said, you got possibilities as an official. Turned around and walked away from him. I didn't know who he was. Turned out, I looked over my buddies and I said, who is he? He said, his name is Bobby Wanzer. He's an All-American from Seton Hall. Okay. Now the bug hit me. I think I want to be an official. And I spent time in, whenever I get the opportunity to go out in the baseball field, instead of playing first base, I got behind the plate, or I got behind the pitcher, and I was going to be an umpire. Bottom line is, I now have 33 months in the Marine Corps. So when I get back, I have the GI Bill. I'm going to go to Temple. I'm going to be a phys ed. If I'm a phys ed, I could be a teacher, and I could get out of school maybe around 2:30 and go work a game. This is what I had in mind. And one of the early orientation classes, one of the professors said, okay, what do you want to do with this fellow? I said, I want to coach football and talk to the girls. Oh, I want to, you actually coach field hockey and so on. So right around the room. Came around to me and said, what do you want to do? I stood up and I said, I want to officiate football, baseball, and basketball. High school, college, maybe professional level. And I sat down. When I sat down, they roared, they laughed. They knew that I had been in the service. This idiot's coming out of here. He wants to be an official. He didn't talk about being a teacher or a coach. He wants to be an official. So I sort of got a little hot on the car. Boom! Stood up again. I said, I'm going to tell you something. I've never been in Madison Square Garden. One day I'm going to walk in, I'm going to have a bag in my hand, I'm going to work a game. And they laughed again. Sat down. That started me on my career. As I mentioned, I worked quite a few games. Turned out that you name it and I worked it. I could be here, I got stories coming out, whatever it is, about officiating. Going through, having people throw Pepsi cans at me in the Villanova St. John's game. That's a full story. I'd love to get back to Villanova and talk to those nice people there. I've had a baseball game at 79th and Buist. 79th and Buist. went out there, and I'm going to make $5. I went from North Philadelphia, trolley car, Market Street, all the way up to 79th and Buick. Twilight baseball, 95 degrees, humidity, unbelievable. I got my black coat on with an inside protector, and I'm behind the plate. Going to work this game. Literally no one to watch the game. I forget the names of the teams, although I got a book at home, a ledger, and I can tell you the names of 2 teams that played. But anyhow, during the course of the game, everything is fine, 2 or 3 innings. All of a sudden, about the 4th inning, the home team coach at third base hollered about a pitch and figured I missed the pitch. Probably did. But nevertheless, now I began getting some chance from kids who were around the backstop. I'm working the game by myself. And this went on for a couple of innings, and all of a sudden an older gentleman said to chase the kids. Whatever they chased them. They didn't bother me. They were saying a few things that weren't very complimentary, but they didn't bother me. But when the game was over, I got my $5 over the side, took my coat off. I'm getting ready to get back on the subway, the trolley car, so I get back home. Looked at the back of my coat. Well, that black coat was almost completely covered with feathers that were stuck to my coat. The kids were in there, and apparently they were flicking feathers at me. So these are the things you go through. But anyhow, so these are the kind of experiences that an official has on occasion. So I worked all of this. Gradually, my scheduling got better. 1957. I worked in the NBA. I'm jumping ahead, I shouldn't have done that. But anyhow, I'm working now high school, Preston, now to high school. Now suddenly to college, Villanova, Penn State, Pittsburgh. So really beginning to break. And I worked a ball game in Muhlenberg on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Game was over, jumped in the car with my wife, God rest her, died in 1981, and went to New York. Walked into New York in the Madison Square Garden, bag in my hand, and I worked at New York Knicks College All-Star game. And you may say, that's great, you did it. There's more to the story. But this is the unusual part maybe of the story. About the 5th game I had in the NBA, I was assigned to work Cincinnati Royals. Some of you may remember the name. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you're aware. I talked to some people about this. They said, what's he talking about? Cincinnati Royals. Yeah. Anyhow, as it turns out, the player coach for the Cincinnati Royals is a guy by the name of Bobby Wanzer. Sounds kind of familiar. I'm in the dressing room getting changed. I'm going to work with a veteran referee by the name of Sid Borgia.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Good. Really, you guys know. Okay. Now, the thing is, am I going to try to tell Sid, the coach over there, one of the coaches, he's the guy that got me started in officiating. The more I thought, I'm not going to say anything. Okay. So I went out on the floor. Sid introduced me to one coach. Come over to Bobby Wanzer. He said, Bobby, this is McNally. He's a rookie. So I said, Wanzer looked at me and said, okay, good luck to you. He didn't know who I was. So now you may say, I got the man here who started me in my career. He's really taken off pretty good. I should be very happy about this person who's going to work this ball game, going to play and be the coach. Should be very friendly to him. Unfortunately, it didn't work that way, because sure enough, he's on my ear, he's banging my ear. And to show you how nice I was to Bobby Wanzer, bam! Technical foul. And within about 5 or 6 minutes, he kept going, and I backed up to him on the sideline. And I said, Coach, I'm going to tell you something, I've had enough. Any more, I'm going to call one more tech, then you're out of here, because that's the rule. 2 and you're gone. I had Bobby about 5 more times during the course of the season, and every time I had him, as soon as he put his hands, Art, I'm not going to give you a hard time tonight. Never going to give you a hard time tonight. I never told him, you're the guy who got me started. That's the way I treated him. But my association, so many times, coming back to school, there were people in health class, including the 214 class, who somehow wanted to get me sidetracked. Instead of talking about cure for cancer or communicable disease, let's talk about where you were last Sunday. And you try to get, and unfortunately, too many times they beat me to it. And I've been talking about the game with the Bears that had Walter Payton. I'll give you a couple of real quick ones, and I'm going to stop. Some people are friends of mine from the first said, you got a lot of experience. You got to write a book. Never bothered with it. I'll tell you 2 things. And about 2 years ago, and I haven't written the book yet. About 2 years ago, I came back from a dinner with my son, and there was a young kid there, and during the dinner, and before he was asking different things. When he asked a question, boom, I answered. He asked another question, boom, I answered. So we got in the car, and my wife Sharon said, "There you did it again." I said, "Did what again?" She said, "They ask you any kind of a question about the National Football League, you can probably answer no matter how far back it is. I ask you to go to the store, get a loaf of bread and a quart of milk. You're going to come back with the bread, not the milk, or the milk and not the bread." So I said, "Okay, that does it." So she said, I said, "Get out that notebook." I had a notebook in the glove compartment. Within the space of 1 hour, I gave her 39 one-liners, different things of the stories, like the Villanova one.